quick. All right, I've got to go over this because I think we just won't have enough time if I wait more. Okay? So let's talk about. So I'm going to handle this one because this dog app looks like the easiest one to start with. So I would rather start with the easiest thing. So let's go ahead and instead of do component, we will do use state. Yeah, I know it's almost the end of the day, but help me power through. Const. We've got our dog app, and we will just. And you can, as you might hopefully can tell, as we've been converting these into hooks, you might have noticed like the app doesn't care, right? It doesn't break, right? The app works with some classes, some functional hooks. Like hooks are something that have been added, and classes are still around, and nothing breaks. Classes will continue to be supported in React for quite a while, indefinitely, but I think eventually it's going to switch over. So const, remember, we have to have an array that we're going to destructure. So what should we call this first argument?
Breed.
Yep, breed. This is the same thing as our state, and this will be called set breed. Nice. And we'll say use state. Initial state should be empty string. Perfect. Yeah, all over. We're bouncing. Okay, so that's done. That line is done. I need to update handle breed. So I should just throw a constant here. And instead of set state set breed, we can just go ahead and call set breed and pass in the breed. Right? So I'm just going to make this one line because it seems like why have a lot of lines for that? Okay. Render we no longer need. Same with destructuring the breed on a state. We already have breed. So we'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. Move all this over just a tad. Okay. I also don't need this console log. We no longer have a state. Okay, and
Line 11 is the handle breed.
And we no longer have a this. That should be it, right? Not too bad of a change. Let's go make sure our dogs still working the way we expect dogs to be working. Looks good, right? So no breaking changes. And we just cleared quite a bit of code doing that. All right, so let's go on to the next one. I think dog selector looks like good. I think dog selector looks like the next easiest one. So, okay, let's do it. So we'll say const dog selector is now a function. This takes in some proper now. Let's go double check. Dog selector took in breed and handle breed, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just take those out of our prop right here. Breed, handle breed. Great. We have to use our state. Okay, so let's go ahead and change our state here. So let's say const. Let's say breeds, plural. Set breeds. And that's just use state. And it starts as an empty array. Okay, great. We got another line down. Right. So we're nearly there, right? We have this component did mount. What should I use instead of component did mount? Use effect, right? And how do I ensure that it only runs one time? Empty array is a second argument. Perfect. I heard a few people say that. Use effect. Whatever this does, something. Whoops. And an empty array. So that handles our component did mount. I can't throw an async in front of this anywhere. So that's a little annoying. But I can just make a new function, and we can call this like, yeah, I'll call it fetch breeds, I think. And this says axis weight, and this would be set breeds now instead of that. So let's say set breeds, and this can new object keys res.data.message. Looks good. Otherwise, we'll just make this an empty array. Okay, so that's a little bit cleaner. Because we need to call fetch breeds in our use effect, I'm going to move fetch breeds to be above the use effect. I want things to be declared before I call them. So I'll just say fetch breeds. Cool. So far, so good. We can get rid of that render. We no longer need to destructure our props. We've already taken that in as our argument. All right, so we can remove another couple lines here. This should all be moved over a bit. What's this doing here? Is there... Do I have an extra curly brace? Yeah, I think so. Okay, and then we have options is no longer this dot state breeds, but just breeds. All right, and that should be the whole thing. All right, let's go check our work. Ooh, that could be from earlier. Select breed. And we select our breed, and we get it. Oh, Beagle. There was such a funny picture of a guy in one of these. Oh, it's not there. You guys should keep doing Beagle whenever you're checking. There's like this, yeah, if you see the guy, you'll know. Save that picture and send it to me. I want to post it on my wall. Okay, so we've got this one working too, right? Any questions on any of this change? Yeah, sure.
Would it be, could you also put the whole res, the whole function for res and axios inside the use effect instead of calling fetch breed?
Yes, I could definitely put that inside of the use effect if I want to. For sure. Great question. Even more interesting, which I'm not going to do right now, but this is definitely like, have we seen anything like this before? Where? Where do we see it today? Movies, right? It's the same thing. You know what that like screams? Custom hook, right? We could easily make a custom hook for this. Maybe we'll do it if we have a bit more time. But a great hook for this would have a loading state as well as the data. So you would see like, hey, if I'm still loading, show the word like return like false because like it's still loading. Otherwise, show the data. It's not a bad hook to make. I challenge you to like try to make it yourself. Okay, it's a great hook. I'd call it like use fetch or use HTTP or something, or use Axios or something. It would just take in. You could get away if you just wanted to be like a component dim mount one. You could just take in a URL. Piece of cake. Honestly, I don't know. It's a little challenging the first time, but you could do it. It screams for it. Okay, but since we're not doing that quite yet, let's go ahead and do dog breeds. Oh, so this one's a bit more interesting, right? Why is this one more interesting? Why is it more interesting? Because of what? Because of props. Well, it's the only time we've used this lifecycle method. Component did update. Right? We haven't used this anywhere else. So this will be the first time we're seeing this in action. So that's going to be really exciting. But we know, since we know there's a component did update, what hook are we going to be using? Perfect. And we know there's some state, so use state. And let's just start converting this bad boy. Const, we will say dogs by breed. Function, does this take in any props? Let's take a look. Dogs by breed takes in a breed. Okay, well, don't want to lose that breed, right? So let's go ahead and just destructure that out of our props argument. And let's go use our state. So const dog picks, set dog picks. I wonder if there's already a library that takes the first name and just builds it all for you, because this is definitely a little annoying to rewrite it. Yeah? Like this?
I have it. This is ESM and all of it.
Yours is doing it? Okay, I'll look into that. I'm glad to hear it's happening for someone else. Okay, we have a number of dogs. I guess we'd have a set number of dogs. I don't think we use set number of dogs anywhere. So it's probably going to give us a warning that we don't need that. But for now, whatever. But that replaces our state. So component did update. Let's come back to that one. Let's keep going. Okay, we've got our get dog picks. This sounds like a const. This is pretty much the same effect that we could make from the other file, right? This one's a little different. I did make something already that combines the two, and lets you decide whether or not it's a component that update or both, but that's kind of a pain in the neck, to be honest. Okay, well, we still have our breed, base URL, res.wait, access.get. We no longer set state, we set what? Set dog picks. And that's just going to work like that. Oops. Let's just duplicate that. Oops, I got two cursors going. And we'll just make this an empty array, like the other one down below is. We'll just get rid of all that. Oops. Okay, and I'm just going to move this, because it looks like we call that from there, so I'm just going to move this above it. Just to not worry about that. Alright. Let's just keep going, ignoring our component amount. Render, don't need. Don't need. Right, this is great. Look at all the code we get to remove. It's no longer this.state dog picks, it's just dog picks. So we can get rid of that. That looks pretty good. But we have this awkward component amount. Did update. So let's figure that one out. So we can say use effect takes in a callback. And I can watch something, right? We kind of said that with the dependencies array. Before we've been keeping this dependencies array empty because we've only wanted that use effect to run one time. But this time we actually care about something changing. What do we care about? What do we care? What's going to change? The breed, right? So I can actually say I want React to watch for changes in the breed. And when there's a breed, I can just go ahead and call this function. So I no longer need any of this. Okay, so that's quite the improvement.
Where's the
Yonghua? That's Thai for like what the hell? What?
do you need the this?
There's I don't need this. Thank you. I can make this a little less. Thank you.
So you put that right before the whole entire function.
So before, here, let's just quickly go back. Before we were checking previous prompts to breed, checking if it's now the same as this breed, and then if they weren't the same, calling this function, right? But now I'm telling my use effect to just watch for any change in breed. That's my dependency array. Yeah, Doug.
Is it just breed
Is it just breed?
Yeah, for the
on line number 19?
Yes, it is just breed. Right, so that's pretty drastic improvement. So all of this code is garbage. So I'm deleting it. We no longer need that. So let's go see what happens. Let's see if it works. So, okay, well, we'll deal with that in a second. But I select, and we get some dogs. Let's go look at beagles, see if we get that guy. Nope, some other weirdo, but not the right one. See, it still works exactly right. And this is our component. I'd say that's quite a substantial improvement. Would you agree, disagree? So, you would disagree, is that what you said? Oh, okay, sorry. I was excited. Okay, it's okay if you do disagree, right? So what do we notice here? We get this error. Why do we get this error? Who knows? Who can tell me why? Because the 10? No, the 10's fine. That's our number. There's something else kind of fishy about this.
it has two it has another slash.
It's got a breeds. What's it missing?
It's missing a brown.
No, it's missing a breed,
Breeding.
right? Because our initial state of our breed is an empty string.
Yeah.
And so this is running. Here, we're getting it right here. We get it on component did mount. Because right now, we have a use effect that works for component did mount, component did update. Right? We're not using it for component will and mount right now because we're not returning a cleanup function. But we are still using it for component did mount. So it's really easy to just use component did mount, but now that we want to just use component did update, I mean, it's still working because it's not a horrible error here, but like, that's kind of annoying. It annoys me. Hopefully it annoys you too. So let's figure out a different approach a little bit. And it's not so bad. I came up with a couple different solutions. So we could add a new piece of state that sees if things have mounted. So I could say const, I'll say mounted, or I'll call it did mount. Did mount, set did mount, and I'll say use state, and I'll say it starts at false. Always. Okay. So now this is kind of a hacky thing, and this is one that I made up. There's another hacky version that I also saw that we can talk about briefly after this version. And so if I want to use effect as only a component did update, I could say like, hey, if I did mount already, So if this is true, then let's go ahead and run this. Else, let's just set did mount to true. So the first time it runs, component did mount. It hasn't mounted yet. Well, it did mount, but our piece of state that says did mount is still pointing to false. So we hit our else statement, and then it gets updated to true. So it's kind of haggy, but it should work. So let's clear the error. Let's refresh the page. Error's gone. And now we have the behavior that we want. Exactly. Oh, yeah. That's an interesting name. Good job.
It's more of a cat.
In Japanese tradition, people are expecting children to give them a key.
When someone is about to have a child, people start giving them dogs?
So it's like a super protective, loyal family dog. Like the idea is that you could put in the key next to your baby in the middle of traffic, and it would not move from that baby.
That's interesting. I just can't imagine like a baby shower where like I get gifted 30 Akitas.
Well, you probably get one. And you're probably
Yeah.
It's like
What?
I want that.
Is it this guy?
Like a puppy at my
Hang on, Marvin. Let me take a look.
You found a picture, Mom found a picture.
Okay. All right. Enough of the dog talk. Clap your hands once if you hear my voice. Clap your hands twice if you hear my voice. All right. So we're almost through. I just want to give you one more different option you could have used instead of this. So there's also a hook called useRef that comes in with React. And this is also kind of a hack. But what useRef does is it gives you a mutable object with the key. I forget what the key is right now, but we'll look at it and then we can. Unless I wrote it down somewhere. No, I didn't. Anyway, it gives you a mutable object with some key that I forget, like current. The key is current, I think. And so you can set anything to that, and that object doesn't get re-instantiated with each re-render. So it stays throughout. It lives on. So every time it runs, it doesn't recreate this. It doesn't refire this. It stays. It lives. So we can call that, instead of having did mount, let's say I have const did mount, and I say useRef, and I invoke that. Here, I'll put a debugger in so we can see what useRef looks like. What's the complaint? Set did mount is not defined. Oh yeah, well that's because I'm not doing that right now. All right, well this is just a slight complaint. Okay. Okay, so we go here, we hit our debugger. Let's go ahead and look at what did mount looks like. So did mount, dot current is currently just undefined. Did I not? Oh, I should pass it something. So I'm going to pass it, it hasn't mounted yet, so false. Okay, let's refresh. Oh no. Come on. No, it's all good. Everything's cool. Yeah, that's fine. Except for like tools aren't open. Okay, so I whatever that's happening. Okay.
Shaky. I think you gotta close up that one.
Okay. Well, I would like to close the other one. Things are getting on edge here. Okay, here we go. Hey now. Okay. So we hit our debugger. Thank goodness. And we can check out use ref. Oh, well, we want to look at did mount. And we see that we have this object with the key current pointing to false. This is a mutable object. So I could also, in here, instead of that, I could say did mount dot current. Else, I could also have done did mount dot current equals true. All right, it's a similar thing. It's not causing a re-render though at all. So this is actually like the suggested solution online. All right, well we can. That's fine. Localhost 3000/dogs. Okay, cool. So now we have our selected breed. Things are starting to get funny. And there's no errors, and we can still get everything to work. Let's try the beagle just one more time. Oh.
Thank
No,
God, Gavin.
I know that, and that's not who I'm looking. I think that's a woman.
Oh, sorry, my bad. She has a
I don't know. However, I don't know.
You're
Whatever
right,
she
you're right.
identifies as, like, it's the they. They are whoever they want to be. But oh, that's a good idea. I'll do that later. But okay. Anyway, so that's the other way we could solve this is with a use ref. So we could either add like a new fake piece of state, or we could just make use ref, which creates a mutable object that we can change and doesn't get reinstantiated with each render. Yep. I wouldn't call it local storage. It just has that one key and pointing to that.
Local storage you can just make that one you can't make it.
Yeah. All right. So it's 6 o'clock tomorrow. I